The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
This is Denise Nostrom, CEO and founder of Diversified Financial Solutions. Now more than ever, investment advice is needed. Not just where best to invest your money, but why. Are you investing for your future retirement? Are you retired and looking to maximize your income? Are you maximizing your income and concerned with leaving money for your loved ones? Are you investing for your retirement at the same time saving for your children's education and at the same time saving to buy another home? Are the markets in line with your goals? Are your goals ever changing? Please contact me at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691. Or visit us at diversifiedfinancial.biz. For over 25 years, I have been helping individuals, families, and business owners navigate through all market conditions with only one goal in mind, my clients. Visit me at diversifiedfinancial.biz or call Denise Nostrom, founder of Diversified Financial Solutions, at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691 for a conversation about my most important client, you. Good afternoon. I hope you are all doing well today. So, how was your week? I'm just in shock and awe because I don't know how the heck it can be Labor Day weekend already. So I just, the summer was an actual blur. I guess the fact that it started a little late didn't help. We had a lot of rain and it was chilly in May and in June. July kind of jumped in and we really just had kind of like 2 months of summer. But honestly, it's a little bit chilly already. I'll talk a little bit about my vacation, but I don't want to wear jackets in August. Like that is just a no-go. But unfortunately, you kind of have to do that from time to time. But I want to thank you all for tuning into the Financial Chick Show today. I am your host, Denise Nostrom, the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions. Your financial chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you want to learn more about me and my firm, check out the website at financialchickshow.com. We're also on Facebook at Diversified Financial Solutions. So like the pages to get updates and see what is happening. So last week, it was a great show. If you tuned in, it was great to have Chef Charles Drayton on my show. He's another radio show host here on LA News Radio. He's an amazing chef and probably one of the hardest working people that I know. I mean, this man is involved in everything, and he's got a family and a house, and I don't know how he does it, but he's all over the place. And if you haven't been to his place, ECC Eatery on River Avenue in Patchogue, you should check it out. We have a long weekend this weekend. He has phenomenal breakfast and lunch. And we're just very, very honored because I'm so excited. We're going to be having a private dinner with all of my boat friends this weekend. It's going to be served up especially by Chef Charles. So, great guy. And like I said, he does so many things, and, you can actually, live like a rock star and not have to spend rock star money to have some fine dining. So, he can come to your home. There's just a lot of things that you could do. So check him out, and I will tell you more about my experience when I am on the show next Friday. But, so the week before last, I was not here because I was on vacation. So each year we take our boat, to various locations. This year we hit Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, Bristol, Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island, and Fisher's Island. We travel with another couple that, they dock their boat up on the North Shore, up in, not Huntington, Northport, in Northport. And so they travel the Sound and we travel the ocean to meet. We met up in Block Island this year. So the part of the trip that frightens me the most, of course, is the inlet, the St. Rich's Inlet. Of course, my husband doesn't like to take the inside because there's not a lot of water out there. You have to go a very specific way. I mean, for those of you that are not boaters, if those of you that are, you know the whole story, but that aren't, I mean, literally there's roads out there. There's lanes that you have to utilize with the boat because they're dredged, and there's, you can fit and your engines will be okay. But unfortunately, the St. Rich's Inlet, or St. Rich's Bay, I should say, they don't do they do the dredging, but they shoals over and the sand goes in, and you just have to really be careful because you don't want to have your trip not start because you get stuck in the sand. So it's crazy. So there's a lot of bouncing around. Just think about ocean, and you have to take your boat outside into waves. not pretty. But I have to say, the trip was amazing, and we were 4 hours on the ocean to get to Block Island from Santa Mauritius. But it's such a wonderful thing. There's no traffic out there, and there's no red lights, and it's very relaxing. It's pretty cool. And each location that we go has its own flavor. We rented bikes on Block Island. We rented a car on Martha's Vineyard and visited various locations. If you've ever been to Martha's Island, it was my first time, but they have this little area where they have gingerbread houses. So cute, like just absolutely adorable little place, and just so nice and quiet and relaxing. Bristol, Rhode Island is a big boating area, and we checked out Herreshoff's Marine Museum, which is a big builder of yachts and sailboats for the America's Cup. And then we went to Newport, which we've been several times, and we just love Newport. There's just always so much to do there, and it's totally fun. We did the cliff walk this year by the mansions. Last year we did the mansions. But one of the new additions this year was Fisher's Island, and I really didn't even know about Fisher's Island. It's kind of just south of Connecticut. It's closer to Connecticut, but actually it's owned by New York, and that's part of the town of Southold. And it's just very, very quiet. I mean, if you like a lot of stuff going on, this is not the place for you. The internet, really, there was non-existent. They didn't have a supermarket. I mean, it was really bare bones, but it was really, really nice. It was quiet, it was quaint, and it was just a beautiful thing. So that was our last stop. And fortunately, we got out of Dodge quickly because the hurricane was coming through at that point. And happily, I can say we did not take the ocean coming home. We went on the inside. We found the route. We called, the authorities and found our way to get through there to be safe and not have to deal with 5 or 6 foot, going possibly up to 8 foot swells because, although our boat's not small, it's just not that big to deal with that kind of stuff. But it's interesting, as we traveled around, we did notice that people everywhere were spending money. Restaurants were filled to capacity. So many people were biking around, renting bikes and taking the ferries to the islands, whether it be Block Island or Fisher's Island, or Martha's Vineyard, and just having fun. It was great to see that. Now I know not everybody's in the same situation, but it seems like there is definitely more positive feel. People are just, doing things, hopefully not spending credit cards, but I'm sure there's some of that too. But, people are getting out, feeling a little bit more confident and doing some things. And again, it's a summer vibe too. Everybody's going out and doing that. But as I'm traveling around, I'm always like thinking about things. But one interesting thing about boating is that it's all about size. Now, when we think of that, we could think of many different things, right? But I think of it with regard to financial planning. So, all boats go by a length of the boat and width of the boat. So when you need to book a slip to park the boat, they need to know the dimensions of the boat. So, boaters always tend to want to upgrade and get a bigger boat. It makes me think about life. Because, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. We always want to strive for more and get bigger and better and that type of thing, but within reason, of course. But it made me think about life because in one marina, we may have been like one of the biggest boats. Like in Bristol, Rhode Island, we were probably one of the larger boats that were there. All the other boats were kind of smaller. And then in the next marina we'll go to, and we look like a little like dot on a piece of paper, because there's like these yachts. They're like, we saw one that was like 5 stories. So it's very interesting how, it's just everybody has their thing. The bottom line is that in the end, it's all about having fun. And whether you're the largest vessel or the smallest, both boats arrive and can enjoy the place just the same. At the same time, who owns the boat or who has a boat loan on the boat. So when I say that is like, it's having a big boat doesn't actually mean that person has a lot of money. Clients will ask me sometimes, how much should I have to retire or live comfortably? But it really depends on your lifestyle. Are you comfortable with debt? You're not comfortable with debt? I mean, I don't think, I shouldn't say that. There are people that are really comfortable with debt. You shouldn't be, but some people are. And the bottom line is, what do you need to live on? What is the amount of money that you need to live on? Do you have a lot of debt? That's another big question. Really, the thing is, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Enjoy whatever boat that you have or the lifestyle that you have. And if you want to get to the bigger and better things, obviously you need to work harder or spend less. The bottom line is you can get to where you need to be. You just have to know your numbers and be cognizant of what it is that you're doing. So I guess my recommendation is just stay in your lane and make sure your financial house is in good order and condition. And that's something that I do for my client. I've had several meetings this week and, financial planning meetings where we went over plans, drafts of plans to take a look at people's situations. And it's very interesting. And where we find we help people so much is that sometimes they know their situation pretty well, but we uncover things that they never thought of. And we'll talk a little bit about that after the break. But it's an important thing. We all need people to help us get to the next level. No one can do it alone. No one has ever done it. The head of Microsoft never did it by himself. The guy Meta, Facebook, no one ever did it by themselves. They need others. And that's really the bottom line. So I hope that gave you some wisdom. We're going to talk a little bit about the markets after the break, but I just found it was very interesting as I go around. I think of these interesting things, and I hope you can relate to them as well as I relate to them. But you're listening to The Financial Chick Show. This is Denise Nostrom, the company's Diversified Financial Solutions. I help you look for financial solutions when you feel like there are none. Feel free to contact me at 631-758-8691 or at my website at financialchickshow.com. Stay tuned after the break for more. Welcome back. This is Denise Nostrom, the Financial Chick. My company's in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all those changes. So right before the break, we talked a little bit about, my vacation on the boat and boat comparisons. But really, the bottom line was that, sometimes the things we have or we do don't really indicate that we have money, nor should it make someone more envious that somebody has something that they don't. Because again, clients will sometimes ask me, what's the amount that I should have? Now, when I meet with people, everybody has a different track that they're running. Some people are working in industries or companies, or with the state or the county that have pensions. So that's a whole other different thing. So they have, income that they can say, okay, maybe my monthly income, just throwing out a number, is $6,000, but my pension's $3,000. So I only have to make up $3,000 to make it all work for my expenses. Whereby I have other clients that come in and maybe they're just depending on Social Security, and their investments are going to have to be the mainstay of their retirement. So it's hard to kind of ask that, or answer that generic question, like, how much do I need to live? And that's why we do a comprehensive financial plan, because we pull in all the data that's necessary to answer your questions. Like I had a client called today. She's going through a divorce and she's wondering whether she'd sell the house or not. Now, I just deal with one of her plans, through her place of work. I don't know all of her situations, so I could certainly answer the question from a generic standpoint, but if we really wanted to drill down and see what would be the best options, you need to know what your expenses are. You need to know all the income sources. And what we can do is project out 5-10 years what those income sources will be, as well as what the expenses are, taking into account inflation. So we kind of give you a track to run on that you may not know right now. Like a lot of people go, will I run out of money? Well, I don't know, what types of things that you want to do. So we can kind of really drill down on that and check things out. So I say that, so that there's a couple that came in, this week, and, they just have a very interesting story. Now, the wife I've been working with for probably 28 years. We've been working together. And, at the time she was, dating a gentleman, and, he became sick, and, she had taken care of him for many, many years, and modest income, but it was a good saver. Always save money, always very judicious. When she would come to my office every year, she'd say, I'm going to save more money. I'm going to put more money away. And she did, and, years went by, and unfortunately her boyfriend had passed, and, then she had to take care of her mother, and she just was always just really always a person in charge. And I just love her to death. And she just really always did the right thing and seemed to always get the bad end of the stick, so to speak, And I would say several years ago, she, after her boyfriend had passed, she had met somebody. And they started dating and eventually got married. And, she introduced him to me and he started working with me as well. And he had come to me also with, she had a lot of debt. He had a lot of debt, over the years. And, again, modest incomes, but good savers. So they had money to back themselves. So, some people are like, living on the edge, spending everything they have a lot of debt and haven't really put any money away. I always say, at least try to put away, even if you live in tight, $50, $100 a month, just so you always have something to fall back on. It just always gives you that comfort. So anyway, I just met with them this week and, we've done a few things over the past couple of years and they're going to be married 5 years now. And, they've eradicated all of their debt. We've done some things with their investments and they've just moved on so beautifully together. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to be married to have it all good, right? But they just, in so many ways, from a personal standpoint, even a financial standpoint, they just meshed so well. And their net worth is amazing at this point. They have no debt. And literally, I just saw their shoulders fall and I'm just like, you guys are good. Like they want to do some things in the house. I'm like, you have the money. We did a plan. We know that they're going to be fine. And to have that security and that the knowing that things are good. And again, things are going to happen. But the beauty of it too, they've covered that as well. A couple of years ago, we set them up with a life insurance with a long-term care rider policy. So if God forbid something does happen where they have an illness, not even an illness, but you have 2 out of 3 assisted daily living activities. So if one of them needs care, home care, or God forbid nursing care, it's covered. They don't have to go into the assets. So they've done all the right things and they just feel peace. And it was just so wonderful to have that meeting this week and, working with somebody for so long and seeing all the ups and downs that they've had financially and personally. It's just so wonderful to see them now be able to breathe and do well, and they do well together. So it just I just wanted to share that story because it was just a beautiful story. So the bottom line is that there's several things that you can do, or the 10 rules for financial success. So I'm just going to kind of read these for you today. First thing is budget. And that is the most important thing. Make sure you have a budget. Know what your numbers are. And it uncovers a lot of things, and share it with a financial advisor. Share it with me. We look at things and people are like, I can't save money, or I'm spending too much money. Sometimes you don't know how much you're spending on certain things. And we all have these monthly things that come out of our savings account or our checking or whatever the case may be. It's the thing to do now. And sometimes they get out of control. So there are ways to save. And sometimes just having somebody else look at your budget really, really helps out. Buy assets. Again, when I with this couple, and then I ran across these 10 things and I was like, wow, this kind of relates to everything that I've done for this couple over the past 28 years. And I've known him about 5, I guess. Buy assets. So important. You don't need a lot to make a lot. But once you get started, it almost becomes infectious. Like you're like, whoa, I'm doing $100 a month. Wow, look how much I'm earning and how much I'm making and how much I'm putting away. And I could burn $100 anywhere, right? I mean, most people can do that. So pay yourself first, buy assets. The third one is, and I can say it again, you don't have to necessarily be married to be successful. But if you're going to marry right. Know the assets of people, know the way that they treat money. It's a big deal. It's one of those big fights that people have. I'm going to do a show on marriage one day. I think that's important, like, what to prepare for and everything. But marry right if you're going to marry. Pay off debt. So I had a newer client newer prospect come into my office this week, and he has debt, and he's like, I'm always going to have debt. I'm like, why? Why would you want to have debt? And he's like, because you just need it. I'm like, so I'm trying to change his head. I think we're working through that. But we look at what the cash reserve is, getting 0.5, and you're paying out debt, credit cards, maybe averaging about 17%. So you're losing 16.5% safely every single year, So pay off your debt, very, very important. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, but just tackle it and you will get there. Invest in yourself. Very, very important. I mean, I have a bunch of clients that are becoming nurse practitioners. They're studying to help themselves and better themselves. So God bless that you need to do that. Avoid lifestyle creep. kind of goes back to the boating story, right? So only buy what you can afford. I mean, it's great to have the big boat and you're looking great there on the waterways, but if you can't afford it, it just doesn't become fun anymore. It actually becomes a burden, and it's a fun activity. It shouldn't be something that you feel sad about. Cut unnecessary expenses. Talked a little bit about that. Invest 20% of your income wherever you are. Well, a lot of people, when I say how much are you investing, they're like, I don't know. See what your number is and make it a goal. 2026 is right around the corner, but it's not too late. It's 2025. You still do it. But make sure you invest 20% of your income. Be with business-minded people. Be with people that are better than you, or talk to people that are doing things or have done things that you want to do, because that's where you're going to get your best information, and they'll be supportive too. And finally, create multiple streams of income. That's what I do for my clients. With this particular couple I was talking about, they have some municipal bond funds, and in addition to their income they need to supplement, I said you could take tax-free money, and I think they're about $700 a month tax-free. So that's great. I mean, so, you don't have to really be out there killing it, but if you have the assets, you can make it work. The final thing I just want to talk about, but I hope that was good, but I did promise Kathy Lashavo about an event that's happening next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, September 7th. It's the Concert Extravaganza number 3, where it's going to be, all the money is going to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. It's a fundraiser. There's going to be crafts and face painting, and most importantly, live music. It's going to run from noon to 7 p.m. News 12 is going to be there, and it's going to be a wonderful day. So if you can get out there, try to get out there and listen. Have a very safe and enjoyable Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer, but I'm not going to end summer yet because I don't want to. But have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.
Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Blackridge Asset Management and Diversified Financial Solutions are separate and independent entities from Peak Brokerage Services.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.